here. Actually, it's afternoon. Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. Standing behind me is my finished Whispering Pines quilt kit top that I've made from my pre-cut quilt kit from the Fabric Hut. I will show you, before I go on too long, I will show you what's included in the kit if you're not aware of it from the Fabric Hut. All of the pieces are pre-cut. I'm going to take some pictures of how well the machine cut triangles are. This is, I would say, an advanced beginner. If you get into the groove of things as I go along the way, I show you, there's all sorts of ways you can piece your rows together. If I actually stopped and pinned very loosely and then took them over, but if you wanted to stack them on top of each other, if you're confident, again, it's just repeating it and repeating it each row. It's come together beautifully and just so easily and quickly, and there are some pieces left, as the kit says, for another a smaller project, a pillow or something. So I'll let you know what I do with that later. But again, comment below, tell me if you love the kit, your name, where you're from, and I will be picking, not right now, but 2 winners to get the entire kit, which includes everything bar the batting. It includes the backing, the binding, everything. So I hope you enjoy this little finished tutorial, quickly tutorial, as I made this quilt top. It took me about 8 hours to put it all together. But yeah, I'm very thrilled with it. Thank you very much, Ricardo and company from the Fabric Hut. Look them up. It's awesome. Thanks a lot, folks. Hope you enjoy this. So this is the kit as it comes with all of their pre-cut pieces, the Whispering Pines from the Fabric Hut. The kit includes the fabric big enough for this throw size, which is 64 by 77 inches. Now, because this is their own pattern, I've been said I can show as much as the pattern as I would like. I'm going to be doing the throw size, but on the back of the pattern, it tells you how much fabric, if you were going to use a ruler or a template, what you would need. So for the throw size, you would need 10 different quarter yards, 2 3/8 background fabric, which would be the white, the binding, which is 5/8 of a yard, the piece of batting, which does not come with the kit, but the backing, 4 yards, it does come. That is the beauty of this pre-cut quilt kit. Say that fast 10 times. These pieces here, the triangles, have all been die cut. Okay, meaning that 3/4 of the work is done for you. Now, the instructions are as it is. Now the instructions begin on this page, and of course it starts by cutting the different fabric if you're just buying the pattern itself. But since we have the kit, we can skip this section and start on page 2. Don't pre-wash the fabric. The kit, it contains extra pieces. Use your favorites, then use the extra pieces in a pillow or another project. Okay, and again, if you're just buying the pattern, it will tell you what to cut from your accent fabrics, from your background fabric, your binding, and your backing. Again, this quilt uses a 60-degree triangle, 7.5 inches tall after they are cut. And then it gives you, if you're going to be just buying the pattern, it gives you the way to cut your pieces. However, I wouldn't do that. I would buy the kit because these are beautifully, beautifully cut. If you're going to be buying the kit and you don't have the ruler, they have kindly, very wonderfully put in a template for your triangle A, your triangle B, and your triangle C to print out and or to transpose onto quilting plastic or template plastic or cardboard. Now, it tells you the layout here for my throw quilt. Okay, it starts with what's called the odd row, and that is beginning with this triangle here, this quarter triangle, and then the white, and then the print, and as we go along. Now, I did notice that when these have been cut, this is exactly how they come out of the package. There is a point here, the triangle here, the triangle there, and it's squared off edge there. It's squared off. Okay? You can see that. That's done on the background fabric and the accent fabrics. Okay, it's squared off. So I'm putting these on my design wall, or I will be putting them on my design wall, and matching up the seams, because again, you're looking at this pattern if you're new or if you're a beginner, and you're like, how in the world am I going to get all of those points? That's the whole thing. Well, the most important thing, especially with this kit, is keeping your 1/4 inch seam perfectly perfect. If you keep your 1/4 inch seam, the beauty of this die cut, machine cut fabric is they go together beautifully. I will be demonstrating how I'm going to be putting a row together and pretty much how long that's going to take me to put that row together. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the entire quilt. I may do, but I just want to give you an overview if you are interested how to put this quilt together. So I'm going to go over to my design wall and show you what I've done so far. So as you can see, I've started my kit and I have it on a flannel backed tablecloth, which is just clamped up there, which the fabric sticks beautifully. There's 10 different fabrics of the focal fabric, and if I just keep a sort of a running, scrappy looking method of my focal fabrics here, I think it's going to be random and scrappy enough. I don't have to plan out my entire quilt. Yeah, I don't think so. So I'm just going to keep it like this. I'm going to be doing 2 rows. And I want to get up close and show you how the quilt probably will come together. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure. So we have these corner triangles here. But as you can see, the flat edge of the background fabric here and the flat edge of the triangle, the focal fabric here, that when we do the seam will match beautifully to create the 1/4 inch seam that you're going to be needing when we put the rows together. Now I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be putting the row together, piece after piece. And then I'm going to show you how the rows go together where you don't lose the points. Now, I'm not perfectionist, I'm not perfect, but because these fabrics have been cut so beautifully, if the 1/4 inch seam is respected, trust the process. Perfect your 1/4 inch seam, and then even laying it out on the design wall, as you can see, with I've sort of tried to copy the 1/4 inch seam. It's a little bit crooked there, but once I do my 1/4 inch seams on these units here, then I go to do the row. You can see where I believe the points are going to be beautiful. Now I have actually taken the time off of my design wall to pin my units very loosely. All right, my colored and my background, the colored and the background, and the colored and the background, all the way over from the right to the left. All right. Now, what I'm trying to do is to maintain the square of the fabric. It's always square to point, square to point. Okay, hopefully I can explain that to you, because somebody asked, well, why are these why are they cut off square? Where do you sew? So I'm putting my 1/4 inch, the square edge at the top, say of the first one, is exactly 1/4 inch, and I'm sewing that down, and I've just pinned it loosely to the square of underneath. Just go slowly with this. There's a point, and then there's the square. So I'm just going to go to that intersection where the point of the side where the point meets the square. Okay, pinch and pull so you don't stress that seam, and trim. And then for this, I've done the first one. You're thinking, okay, well then I've loosely pinned the second one. Okay, get this one out of the way, and I'm going again, square edge to point on this top one, starting in 1/4 inch. from that square edge. Scratch them together nice, making sure your 1/4 inch is perfect. And then when you come to the bottom here, I'm going to be pulling this because I haven't ironed it. I'm going to be pushing it over to the dark. Okay, I'm going to be pushing this over to the dark. And then hopefully we will have the 1/4 inch for our next row. But I'll just show you that in a moment. So there we go. Hopefully you can see that. Let me just see if I'm looking at that. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. That 1/4 inch right there is where we're going to be sewing our next row. So just remember that it's the square to the point. Square to the point. So those two are sewn together. And I did take the time. You know me, I don't like to pin. But I did take the time to pin this together like so, because these are all triangles. And at one point I was distracted, and I put it up here. And I'm thinking, why the heck is it going like a right angle or something? Because I forgot that these are the way the triangles go. So it's a little bit funky. Do you see what I mean? But as you can see, here's my square. Now I'm going to bring this down. The dark, I'm sewing to the dark 1/4 inch in. This is my next seam I'm going to be sewing. Square to the point, coming down. And again, the square to the point, lining them up. This may be a bit unconventional. I know, again, a lot of people have a way of putting pieces on top of each other when they're quilting to do a line, but I don't want to get confused. And I trim, and again, there you go. There's the 1/4 inch that you're going to need to put, well, this will be the top row of the binding, and we will not cut off that point. When I go to press them, I will set that seam and I will press over to the dark. As you can see, this is where the seam wants to go. This seam wants to go this way. Now I'm going to come over to this seam where I've pinned it loosely. And again, do I see square? Yep, I see square top to point. The square is my marker for my 1/4 inch. Just start up there, like so. You can see I'm not back stitching or anything. And I'm coming down here, finger press it to the dark over this way, and then go right off. And again, we have a square to the point. And that will make sure our edges together, and that will make our 1/4 inch seam. And then I will continue that. Let me just see. Yeah. And so there we go. Another perfect 1/4 inch. So what I've done is I've very loosely come over to my ironing table, and just very loosely, sort of in the middle, because they're joined at the top and the bottom, I've just set my seam just as much as I could, just to make it a little bit easier to work with when we go to press it. I've set that seam like that. And because these are triangles and cut on the bias, obviously it's difficult to work sometimes with bias edges, so I do have I have a heavy starch here, a heavy hold enhancer, and I'm working very carefully. I'm not pressing anything really hard. I've already done that edge. So what I'm doing now is I can turn this over, and I'm going to give my fabrics a spray here with my starch. And as you can see, this lines up really nice on my board, and I'm going to be pressing, just pulling this out ever so gently, every seam. Okay, now I'm going to be pressing to the dark, right? So this is the dark piece. I'm just going to be pushing that over just with this edge of my iron there, And I've already, as you can see, it's laying really nice. It's not stretching, and it's almost like this little V that I can get in that white area there, okay? And then I'll just gently put it in front of me. Again, I've just sprayed that a little bit, and I can just pull that gently, and I can just maneuver that seam to the dark, just like that. Now I will press this on the other side. Hopefully I haven't gotten any little tucks because I'm smoothing it all the way, all the time. You see that? I'm smoothing that seam over to the dark. And as I always say, it's so important to press or iron or whatever the heck it is you do. I iron. A lot of people press up and down as to not stretch, but I'm cool. My fabric's all nice. So I'm just gently ironing this. Okay, so I finished sewing my second row, and as you can see here, I have my 1/4 inch and my 1/4 inch, my 1/4 inch and my 1/4 inch, all the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this top row pretty side down to the second row pretty side, and I'm going to pin, hopefully at this 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch, so none of these will be cut off, and I'll just go along the whole length of my 2 rows, and I'll sew those 2 rows together. I've sewn the top row and the bottom row, the second row together, and what I've done is I've set that seam really carefully like so all along, and the general rule in quilting is you press to the dark. Well, you have light and dark. Where are you going to press? I always sort of say, let the fabric tell you where it wants to go. So I've laid my row like so, and obviously my seam, my fabric seam is going to be going underneath, is going that way. So what I've started to do is I've just nudged it up the whole way like so. I'm going to spray it again with some starch, making sure I'm not skewing anything. I'm just going to nudge that seam, which is underneath, towards the top of the top row. And as you can see, having sewn that well with my 1/4 inch seam, as you can see, my points here are perfect. Well, my quilt top is almost done. I've done the 11 rows. I have just one seam left. I constructed this sort of in 2 halves, so I wasn't working with all this fabric all at once. I would sew 2 rows together and then press them really nice and then construct them. And now I have the 2 halves, and there's a seam right here. So I just have one more seam to go to attach my top and my bottom of my quilt that I've made here. Again, I did it in units so as to not have to work with the entire quilt.